60 minutes of Donald Trump lying. That's what we saw this weekend when Donald Trump appeared on 60 Minutes. Actually, it was 73 minutes.
In a new interview, President Trump tells 60 Minutes he will not negotiate with Democrats about rising health care costs until they give Republicans the votes needed to end the shutdown.
Tonight, in what has become an election year tradition for 60 Minutes, conversations with the major party candidates for president and vice president of the United States.
It lasted 73 minutes. 73 long, breathless, disorienting minutes. The interview that aired on 60 Minutes this weekend wasn't journalism. It was an endurance test, a pressure chamber of distortion, denial, and fabrication. A spectacle where truth fought to breathe while Donald Trump delivered falsehood after falsehood with the mechanical certainty of a man who long ago stopped fearing consequences. 18 provable lies. That's the official tally. 18 documented, indisputable falsehoods in a single interview. That's roughly 3 lies per minute. And considering the host used up part of that airtime asking questions, the ratio is even worse. You've heard of words per minute. Trump has now perfected lies per minute, and the numbers are staggering. We read every line of the transcript so you wouldn't have to. We sorted, cataloged, and verified each claim. And what follows now is not speculation, not interpretation. These are the top 10 lies Donald Trump told, boldly, confidently, shamelessly, on national television. Lies that weren't accidents or slips of the tongue, but deliberate acts of political theater designed to rewrite reality in real time. He began, astonishingly, with grocery prices. Trump looked into the camera and declared that grocery prices were not rising. No, he said, they were going down. That's right, down. The same grocery prices that Americans everywhere can feel burning holes in their wallets. The same prices that have climbed across all 6 major categories measured by the Consumer Price Index. If Donald Trump spent any time outside of the marble hallways of his private clubs, if he walked into an actual supermarket instead of his gilded ballrooms, he'd know the truth instinctively, the same way every family does when they see their receipts. But instead of facts, he gave viewers fiction. And he wasn't done. Almost immediately, he pivoted into another whopper, that Joe Biden handed him the worst inflation in U.S. history. But when Trump took office in 2017, inflation was 3%. Today, inflation is, brace yourself, 3%. Meanwhile, the real historical record shows the worst inflation the U.S. ever experienced was nearly 27% in 1920. But Trump isn't governed by data. The drama of outrage governs him. Truth is merely an inconvenience. Then came the tariffs. Always a favorite of his. Trump insisted, once again, that foreign countries like China are paying the tariffs he imposed, instead of American consumers. This is false. Tariffs are taxes on importers, U.S. importers, who then pass the costs to U.S. consumers. Higher prices, higher inflation, higher costs of living. It's economics 101, but Trump spins it as though he's discovered some secret geopolitical cheat code. Meanwhile, his trade wars have made ordinary American families pay billions in added expenses he claims don't exist. And then, because no interview is complete without Trump claiming to invent something, he insisted he conceived the idea of co-locating artificial intelligence data centers next to power plants. It was his brilliant innovation, which nobody had ever thought of, except they had, extensively. The Biden administration discussed it, energy experts discussed it, tech leaders have discussed it for years. But Trump presents it as a revelation, his own personal eureka moment, the same way he once implied he invented the phrase priming the pump. The man treats history like wet clay, reshaping it at will. But the most bizarre claim may have been his assertion that each drug-running boat intercepted in the Caribbean kills 25,000 Americans. Every single boat, 25,000 lives lost per vessel. It would be laughable if the topic weren't deadly serious. These are not fentanyl shipments. Fentanyl pipelines move through Mexico, not the Caribbean. The boats Trump references carry cocaine, not synthetic opioids. And even when you combine all overdose deaths from all substances nationwide, the total is around 80,000 to 90,000 a year. To claim each boat equals 25,000 deaths is not exaggeration. It's an invention. Next came yet another favorite. Trump claimed he ended 8 wars. Cambodia, Thailand, Kosovo, Serbia, Congo, Rwanda, Pakistan, India. You name it, he claimed it. Some of these conflicts didn't exist during his presidency. Others were decades-old diplomatic disputes. Some he fabricated entirely. It's as though he keeps a world map on his wall, throws darts, and claims victory wherever they land. If delusion were foreign policy, Trump would be a Nobel Prize powerhouse. And of course, Ukraine couldn't escape his distortion. He claimed Joe Biden sent $350 billion to Ukraine. Not $100 billion, not $150 billion, but $350 billion. Reality? The U.S. has actually sent about $94 billion, with another portion appropriated but not delivered. Trump's figure isn't just wrong, it's not even in the right universe. Then came immigration. Trump falsely accused Democrats of demanding $1.5 trillion for health care and services for undocumented immigrants, not $1.5 billion, trillion. This lie is designed to trigger outrage, not inform. Democrats asked for the restoration of tax credits under the Affordable Care Act, which Trump eliminated, leading to Americans' premiums spiking. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for that funding. But Trump's playbook doesn't rely on accuracy, it relies on fear. Lie number 9, the Insurrection Act. Trump has repeatedly misused the National Guard and suggested deploying active duty troops to American cities, a legally dubious move intended to manufacture strength. He claimed presidents invoked the Insurrection Act as many as 28 times. The truth: no president has invoked it more than Ulysses S. Grant, who did so only 6 times. And Trump's motives are not grounded in law or necessity. They're rooted in theatrics. The idea of using the military as an extension of his political will intoxicates him. Dangerous for the country. And finally, the climax of his fabrications. He insisted he had never directed the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. Not in any way, shape, or form, he said. Except there is a digital paper trail. He accidentally tweeted what was meant to be a private message to Pam Bondi, instructing her to pursue 3 of his critics, including the journalist conducting the interview. Trump didn't deny the act. He denied the reality of it, gaslighting viewers in real time. 10 lies, 10 undeniable fabrications, 10 reminders that the truth means nothing to a man who sees reality as malleable, flexible, adjustable, something to be molded to his ambitions. And those were just the top 10. There were more, many more. The very air around the interview felt warped, like stepping into a funhouse mirror version of America. But here's the part that should terrify every one of us. This isn't just about lies. Anyone can lie. This is about the systematic destruction of shared reality. When a nation can no longer agree on facts, democracy suffocates. When truth becomes a partisan construct, policy becomes warfare, not governance. When the leader of a country declares that objective reality is optional, what remains except power, tribe, and conflict? We cannot normalize this. We cannot shrug and say, "That's just Trump." Because that shrug is how democracies fall. Lies do not merely mislead, they erode the foundation of civic life. They pit neighbor against neighbor, community against community, truth against tribal loyalty. They replace debate with suspicion, accountability with chaos, and journalism with propaganda. A president's greatest responsibility is not only to lead, but to tell the truth, to anchor the nation's sense of reality. Trump has done the opposite. He has floated so far above the truth that he no longer sees it. He lives in a world sculpted by grievance, ego, and fantasy, and demands that 330 million Americans live there with him. So call out the lies, every one of them. Because truth is the bedrock of democracy, and once it cracks, everything above it collapses. Thanks for watching tonight's breakdown. We started doing these nightly videos because every day something significant happens. Something that deserves to be understood, examined, and confronted. And yes, I like using movie clips. If you have suggestions, send them in. Until then, stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay in the fight.